By yourself, you begin to see yourself in areas that before, if they tell you, you were even criticizing and judging people going to those kind of areas. But now you just see it as magic. You're there. So it's important that we look at it. Next. I think I should be wrapping up. So, understanding the difference between politics and governance. So, when you say governance, people think it's politics. Once you say politics, people mistake it to be governance. These are two different words, two different concepts, two different systems, but they cannot do without themselves. They reinforce themselves. It's a marriage. So, politics is how vested interests compete for power, either to capture it or to retain it. And why are they competing for power? Because power comes with resources, comes with privileges, and comes with empowerment. Because when you have power, you can rule. While governance is talking about what you do with the power. So that you are now the president. Politics has given you. But what you do as the president is governance. So when you put a wicked person in power, what do you think he will do with that power? He will bring wicked policies and wicked programs that will advance their interests. So somebody in a community, we were doing an interaction, and I asked what the meaning of politics and power, what's the difference? And the guy stood up and gave an illustration that made sense. He said, politics is when a man is going to toast a woman, and he tells her all the beautiful things she wants to hear. And he takes her to all the fine spots, all the latest eateries, snap pictures, snap all of those things. That is what politics is. He's trying to entice her so that he has control over her. While governance is that he has won her heart and she has agreed to marry him, and now they are in practical reality. So she might no longer be seeing that constant morning calls and text messages and all the fast food visitation. All of that one will disappear. So I like that illustration because that is what happens in our political scene. When it is time for election, you see the politicians coming to your house. They will bring rice. They will bring all of these things. They will be telling you things that will sweeten you and you want to hear. And the moment you vote them and they are in power, then reality begins to dawn. And that is what happens generally. So we must ensure that when the people coming to tell us the sweet things and giving us the sweet things, we must be able to discern, sieve out the sweet things and the sweet words, and look at the core of the person, whether the person is a righteous person, not just because the person is a Christian and goes to church. So we can move quickly to the next one. So what we need to subdue and dominate, the systems of the world, we need to take control of government institutions. And what are those government institutions? The legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. And the problem is that we have Christians in name in all of these structures. But until we are able to also separate Christians in name and Christians in spirit, we will not achieve anything. You just still carry a Christian and give him the president of Nigeria. You still come and do worse than even the other religion you talk. In fact, you might end up benefiting more from another religion than your own religion. So also in the legislative arm. At the federal level, a Christian is the Senate president. So I'll leave you to judge whether he's performing in a righteous way. It is left for you to judge. Next, sir. Then, no, go back. So systems, we need to take charge of systems. And what are those systems? We need to begin to shape how government makes laws. What kind of laws do government make? What kind of institutions are government creating? What kind of policies, what kind of plans, what kind of budgets are government doing? Because without these systems, government does not exist. It is these systems that government follow to take decisions. So if we don't take charge of these systems where these decisions are being made, it means that the decisions will be made in our name to our disadvantage. So we must begin to think in that direction. So social accountability, civil society is an entry in section 24 has mandated us, has given us duty to be interested in what happens around us. To be interested in what happens around us, in our communities, how government affects our communities and all of that. The Constitution has already given us that duty. But you know, most times we ignore the duty part. We want to go and look at where the Constitution is telling us this is our right. But like I said yesterday, you cannot enjoy your rights till you perform your roles, responsibilities, and duties. If you don't switch on the light will not come on. So it is your responsibility to switch off the light. And if you don't participate, you can't switch off the light. So you can never be the light of the world. You cannot be the salt of the world.